The purpose of this weekly lesson plan tutorial is to provide training in the use of the software that's used in creating and submitting weekly lesson plans. I'll demonstrate how to create a weekly lesson plans folder on the desktop, how to download the PHMS weekly lesson plan template from Principal's Pirate Pages, how to modify the downloaded template in order to create a personal template, how to open the personal template and how to enter data as well as save, how to save a weekly lesson plan in a PDF format, and then finally how to email the PDF file to the principal. The first thing I'll explain is how to set up and properly save files. In the long run, establishing and maintaining an efficient system of file organization will save you a lot of time. Our first step in this process is to create a folder on the desktop. This folder will be the storage cabinet for all of your weekly lesson plans that you'll create and the source by which you'll retrieve your plans in order to submit them to the building principal. To create this folder, go to your desktop and in an open area, right-click, select New, then click on Folder. After your new folder is created, it will need to be renamed. This is accomplished by hovering over the folder, right-click, select Rename. Type in the words Weekly Lesson Plans, then press Enter. A weekly lesson plan folder has now been created. The next step in the process of setting up and organizing the weekly lesson plan folder is to download the weekly lesson plan template so that it can be personalized to fit the teacher's individual schedule. This is accomplished by downloading the file from Principal's Pirate Pages. The file can be located on the lesson plans page link and is titled PHMS Weekly Lesson Plan Template.xlsx. Select the Download link. Once the Excel file opens, it will need to be modified and then saved to the weekly lesson plan folder located on the desktop. The process of modifying the template is accomplished by filling in 15 different cells with information that will not change over the course of time. The cells are teacher name, grade in class for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th periods. I'll now enter the teacher name, in this case I'll use Mrs. Crocker, and grade level and class names for each period, 7th period being a plan period. Essentially, the template's being set up based upon the individual teacher's course schedule. The date is deliberately left blank because that information will change weekly, unlike the teacher name and teaching schedule. Once this information is entered, it's now time to save the personalized template in the weekly lesson plan folder located on the desktop. This is accomplished by clicking on the Office button located on the top right-hand corner. Select Save As. The file name will need to be changed to Weekly Lesson Plan Template plus the teacher's name. For this example, our file will be called Weekly Lesson Plan Template Crocker. The file type remains unchanged. Be certain to save the file in the proper location. Remember, the Weekly Lesson Plan folder is located on the desktop, so that location will need to be found so that the file can be saved in the right place. The last step is to select Save. Now a personalized template has been created. From this point forward, these two steps will not have to be repeated. Instead, when it's time to create a weekly lesson plan, the weekly lesson plan folder located on the desktop will be opened. The weekly lesson plan template Crocker will be selected, modified, and saved under a new name in order to submit to the principal, and this process will be explained here in a minute. We'll now imagine that a weekly lesson plan is being created for the first time. Now that the personalized template's been created, it will need to be opened. After opening, the week will need to be entered and then the file saved again. Remember, the personalized template is only being used to kickstart the process by providing a file to the user with information that will not change over time. As explained earlier, the teacher name and the course schedule is that type of information. For this example, the date of 3/25/2013 will be selected from the drop-down list. The file now needs to be immediately saved as a new file name. The file naming format to be used is the last name of the teacher, a period, and then the month, day, year for the week that the plan applies. All date formats from the drop-down list are always going to be Mondays, regardless of whether or not there's school on a Monday. For this example, the file will be saved as Crocker, period, 03-25-13. Again, make sure that the file is saved in the correct folder located on the desktop. There will now be two files cataloged in the Weekly Lesson Plan folder. Weekly Lesson Plan Template Crocker and Crocker, period, 03-25-13. In short, an individual week's lesson plan has been created using the template. This individual week's lesson plan can be accessed at any time and modified prior to emailing a copy to the principal. As the weeks pass, the personalized template will remain, plus numerous individual weekly plans will be added. The program can be viewed as four distinct areas: schedule, progress bar, screen tips, and the plan itself. All class schedule information can be found on the left-hand side of the screen. The grade level and course names for each period already appear. The added feature of the template allows for period plans to be applied to other classes. However, as a default, you'll notice that all of the boxes entitled SA are already checked. SA stands for Standalone. Having the Standalone box checked essentially announces that the plan for the period stands alone and does not get taught again the same way for any other period. However, if a course is taught to 2 or more periods the same way during the week, the plan can be pasted to those periods. For example, let's suppose that the same grade level and course is taught in both first and second period. Instead of having to retype the plan twice, the number 2 box can be checked on first period schedule. Doing so essentially announces that the plan for second period is the same as first period. The same would hold true for fifth period if the number 5 box was checked on first period schedule. For that matter, a teacher might have only one prep a day, meaning the same course content is taught the same way to every class for all 6 periods. In that case, all but one of the boxes would be checked in period 1. The open period would be a plan period. As information is entered into the cells, the progress bar indicates how much of the plan has been completed. This feature is tied to the next feature, called Screen Tips. Located on the right side of the screen is a column called Screen Tips. This column includes 2 types of information. If any row is incomplete, an error icon and message appear alerting the user of the deficiency, and if any row becomes complete, a checked icon and complete message will appear. The more complete messages that appear, the greater the progress. A feature that's been included to period 1 only are the comments that apply to each plan point: objective, GLE code, GLE description, activity, assessment, and notes. To access these comments, simply hover over the cell that has a red mark on the top right-hand corner. In order to progress through the template, the actual lesson plan will need to be formulated and written by the teacher and the information entered. This is done by filling in every light-colored cell for every period and for every day. Leaving any cell blank will create an error message and will need to be corrected. A common issue that will occur is what to enter for a day that a class or school doesn't meet. For example, let's say that school is not in session on a Monday. In this case, all cells for Monday would need to read NA or class does not meet or some other message. The same technique would be used for individual class periods that don't meet on a specific day. An example of this would be a pep rally being held during Tuesday's third period. Failing to do so will not clear the error message found on the screen tips column for that particular row of data. Now let's enter some information. For the sake of moving things along, I'll simply enter my name in the cells so that proper data entry is demonstrated. One thing to remember is that each cell will accept any information you put into it regardless of the length. The cell will simply wrap the text. When any row is complete, the error message that was once read, all cells in this row must contain data, has been changed to complete, as well as an increase in the progress percentage being shown. Now let's see what a weekly lesson plan would look like if all the required information was entered. You'll notice that all of the cells contain information, thus reflecting a completed status for all rows of the plan. When the user reaches this point, a message will appear on the progress bar. For this example, the message reads, "Your lesson plans are now complete. Please save and email a PDF formatted file as Crocker.03-25-13 to msmith@phr6.com. When this message appears, the plan needs to be saved and then a copy saved as a PDF file and sent to the principal. Once the plan has been saved for the final time as an Excel file, save an additional copy as a PDF formatted file. And there are varying methods to accomplish this, but only one will be explained in this tutorial. To do this, click on the Office button, select PDF. Save file with the same name as you did for the Excel version. For this example, we're using Crocker.03-25-13. Select the location to which you want the file to be saved, and in this case, the Weekly Lesson Plans folder located on the desktop. Finally, select Publish. When your file is saved, this is what the file will look like, and the user will be sending this to the building principal via email. Once you've saved your weekly lesson plan in PDF format, it's time to email it to the principal. To accomplish this, open your email. For this example, I'll use my Outlook account that is set up on my personal computer, as it's essentially the same program that's used at work. Select New, send to msmith@phr6.com, add a subject Weekly Lesson Plans 03-25-13, attach the PDF file from the Weekly Lesson Plans folder on the desktop, and then add a message such as requested, then send it. As a general rule, all weekly lesson plans need to be submitted every Friday for the upcoming week. However, if additional time is needed, your weekly lesson plan can be submitted up to the 8 o'clock Monday morning deadline. Through this tutorial, I've demonstrated how to create a weekly lesson plans folder on the desktop, how to download the PHMS weekly lesson plan template from Principal Pirate Pages, how to modify the downloaded template in order to create a personal template, how to open the personal template and to enter data and save, how to save the weekly lesson plan in PDF format, and then finally how to email the PDF file to the principal. This concludes the weekly lesson plan tutorial.